So, you wanna make... Wait, this is not my first video. 5 more minutes! So, empires, symbols of power, wealth, tyranny, or forces of unity in case you have a doomsday situation and wanna make a good empire for once. And today I will talk about them, and their evil good parts, how to make them, and many others. I mean, it's not like this might take forever. I mean, how long could it be to describe the existence of a political entity, of a social contract, and governmental institutions? Fuck! I guess I deserve that. Okay, yeah. So this is more complex than I imagined. Like a lot. Probably more than one episode sort of stuff. In fact, I have a diploma dealing with this sort of stuff and you just say to me I have the smoothest brain in the world. Anyways, due to the fact we might have a lot from cultural, imperial origins, militarism, economics, communications, governments, and the gods. Okay, let's start from something simple. What is an empire? According to Cambridge or Google's Oxford, an empire is an extensive group of states or countries or even a culture under a single supreme authority. Formerly especially an emperor or empress. Same for Cambridge, except they add government or country, indicating more of an entity rather than individual, which I believe is more accurate. You see, the first definition has issues. By that definition, the British Empire doesn't enter the definition of an empire. Same goes for the Roman Republic, the Athenian Empire. The Holy Roman Empire would scream about it, even though it would be more accurate to describe it as 300 people in a room shouting at each other non-stop. And because by that definition as well, many other countries enter the definition, even today. Brazil, due to the cultural and ethnic diversity, has Russia thanks to, well, being huge. The United States as well enters the definition, same for the USSR and China, and also this is ignoring the fact that Japan still calls itself an empire. So, besides poking the modern geopolitics debate and causing several issues to the comment section, let's move on. Empires in fiction generally follow the first definition of a great number of cultures or nations under a single supreme emperor or empress. Most of the time an emperor, and the overall trope generally falls under an evil empire being toppled by eating a man off a railing. Not always the same situation, but close to it. Now, if it's more of a good empire, then they generally follow a force of good in darkness, best encapsulated in the sense of a last bastion of civilization and the race of men. Like in Dishonored, fucking English. Dishonored in the sense of a civilization that literally is the only bastion of civilization in the world. Literally, the Empire of the Isles is the only nation in the planet, well, if you exclude Pandasia. But Pandasia is also considered a primitive continent with absolutely no civilization at all. Then again, Empire of the Isles is based off Britain mixed with Germany, so we all know how this generally goes. Another example, mostly focused around the last bastion of man, is Gondor. Even though it's more stated to be a kingdom, in the end of the story it has the political landmass of Rome, and nothing is stated to hold back its rulers, so... yeah. Either way, this is generally how nearly every empire in fiction works. A nation spanning a great length of land, kept together and united under a single supreme ruler. Issue that I personally take with this is that it takes out a lot of choices you can make in world building when dealing this. The Roman Empire is the overall concept that many empires are made out, but it leaves out one thing. The Roman Republic, while generally very praised as an institution and many other graces, doesn't generally get put beside its war crimes such as burning cities, imperialism, turning an entire rival state into salt, and unpaid internship. Curse you, YouTube, by the way. Well, back to topic. The Roman Republic can be categorized as an empire as well. In fact, it fits the definition very well. A multitude of cultures, countries, or even legions under its umbrella literally puts it as a diverse nation, but also an empire, as many of its cultures wanted independence. Not only that, but at the same time, Carthage could be argued to be one as well, being a literal form of sister republic, while Rome was a militaristic republic. Carthage was a mercantile one, And if we go by lower spectrum of things, the Holy Roman Empire was an empire, just an incredibly broken one. Thank you, feudalism! But this blurs somewhat the vision of what an empire is, quite obviously. When republics can be empires, then the answer seems to fall into the second definition established. A government or country, not just a single person, literally forming an empire. So with that out of the way, definitions and all of what an empire is, what is an empire according to writers? Well, if you are from the Western world, then for the most part you are copying Rome or Greece, if Alexander the Great never died, which is the biggest inspiration for a lot of them. Which makes sense, cultural parentage of the Western world and all. After all, we look to the past for inspiration, especially when dealing with this sort of medieval stuff. Even somewhat sci-fi, we look to the past for inspiration, which is sort of bad, but that's another story. Let's move on. Other times people copy Persia, other times people copy China, literally as big inspirations. Other times as well people copy medieval Europe in the sense of the Age of Knights. I don't even need to explain much of that. It's literally copying medieval feudal France, put it into a more fantasy-esque situation and you have it. Literally, I don't need to explain a lot. That also means that literally any empire made under this is literally absolutist France. So basically 1700s France. Personally for me it's a bit sad because flavors of tyranny come in many forms and many of them also come in republican forms, but it's not much used. Which is understandable, we associate the past more with kings and queens in pop culture than anything else. But into a little bit of a thing here. Why is this the case? Why everyone copies absolutist France or the Roman Empire? Well, it's cause it's simple and also rhymes with our view of the time period, but at the same time it also falls on the writer's wishes. The writer and storyteller will make empires based on what he needs and wants. Empires that are good will generally follow what a writer thinks of human society and wishes of it. Generally they can be utopian, generally democratic, generally following many lines that blur the concept of what I said, for the greater good.
About the greater good.
The greater good.
Then evil empires have ideas that a writer or storyteller just hates and tells the audience one must destroy it for the sake of good, or a cautionary warning to society, generally with hilarious situations. And also another reason is very simple, the writer just needs a kingdom of goons to throw at the heroes, simple as. But at the end of the story as well, the empire is literally what a writer wishes it to be. Which means world building can go from simplistic to literally copying the real world to just being a single thing with no complexity at all. Believe me, it's not bad, we might be in the age of complex villains, but simplicity isn't bad. Now, if you want to make your world building realistic when dealing with empires, then imagine your workload get doubled. Absolutist empires, as in an empire where the ruler is literally absolute, are kind of difficult to manage. The larger the empire, the more difficult it is to manage. Why? Well, it's kind of simple. An empire is a country, it's a nation, a culture state. It's quite obvious, honestly, but in many stories it's not much acknowledged at all. States are built the same way as empires are. They are the same entities. The difference is that we separate them for the sake of convenience and because history books, political sciences and etc. like clear definitions instead of simplistic ones. Let me rephrase this. It's not because the academic circles dislike simplicity, it's because people can judge very well the complex situations that was the history, political and many other studies about this subject, so it generally demands a very simplistic explanation. So how do you make one, you ask me, aspiring writer? Well, it's more complex. Like goddamn it is. Empires are by definition also nations, meaning that said empires come out on top in many different ways. Here's an example. Let us go back to Rome for a moment. Rome was a militaristic cultural society that valued martial prowess and military expansion above many things. This is a gross oversimplification and there's many more nuanced parts, but it's basically is Roman society. There were warriors first, everything else second. But something not many people discuss is its main rival, Carthage. Carthage was also a republic, also an oligarchic system led by nobles, just like Rome, but it worked differently. Carthage was a merchant power focused on economic growth and the wealth of its ships. Rome was a power in land, built around its land forces and military power. Carthage was built around its economic prowess and also its ability to project power via its fleets and to hire mercenaries to do most of its lift work. Both were empires, or rather say that Rome began as an empire once it united most of Italy rather than when it attacked Carthage for the first time, but that's a debate and another story. Carthage shows that all empires don't need to be militaristic. They don't need to have all its economic power literally filtered into the military forces. Nations can be empires in many ways. The path that Rome took is different when it defeated Carthage. When it did, it became a great power. When it defeated all its neighbors, it became a superpower with only two equals, the Persian Empire and the Chinese Empire. India would also count, but because its strength is literally being able to outlast every nation that unites its continent, I would guess it doesn't count. But yes as well? Okay, I realized I'm going a bit into history. Back into topic. What is an empire? Well, it's an entity a writer seeks to put a symbol upon. A symbol of evil, a symbol of good, a symbol of unity. A tool a writer can use to make a symbol of what a culture or simply a concept or idea that should be avoided. At the same time, an empire is also a nation, meaning it is not that different from any country in the world, meaning that it has origins and different ways to become a powerhouse in its own right. At the same time, worldbuilding one is hard because, Jesus. Now, does this mean I leave you with just this as a way to make worldbuilding? No, I just accidentally picked a topic I thought would be cool and accidentally ignored my own formation. That screamed at me that I literally must be an idiot to think that this would take literally a few hours. Well, 3 revisions and literally one friend having to help me rewrite this after reading the script. Well, 2 friends, but you get the point. And I'm standing here with half an episode of what I think a full episode should be about this topic. Well, after realizing how stupid I am and having help with friends to deal with this, I can only say stick around because this is just the beginning. See you around, folks.